Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 10th verse of the 9th chapter of the first canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. This chapter describes the passing away of Bhishma Deva in the presence of Lord Krishna. Bhishma is going to offer wonderful praise to Krishna. But before that, the description is given of the situation of Bhishma's passing away. Krishnam chatat prabhavagnya asinam jagadishwaram hridistham pujayamasa mayayopatta vigraham. The meaning of this verse is as follows. Lord Sri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishma Deva, and since Bhishma Deva knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly. If you remember, in an earlier verse it was described when the Pandavas were coming to the battle field where Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows. Krishna accompanied the Pandavas. So, Bhishma was very fortunate and blessed to have Krishna in front of him when he was about to quit the body. Krishna is directly present in front of Bhishma. And here it is said, even if Krishna comes in front of us, are we able to recognize here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna? Not necessarily. Because Krishna looks like a human being. We may think when Krishna comes in front of us, here is another human being. And we may not be able to recognize him. It is said in the scriptures, even when Krishna incarnated 5,000 years back on the earth planet and moved around in human society, many people thought he was an ordinary person. He was another human being. They could not recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A very good example is there in the Mahabharata. When Krishna went with a peace proposal on behalf of Maharaj Yudhishthira before the battle of Kurukshetra was about to begin, to avoid that battle, world war, it was not just a battle, it was a world war. Yudhishthira wanted to negotiate for peace and Duryodhana refused. So Yudhishthira thought, let me send Krishna. Krishna went to Duryodhana, but Duryodhana thought Krishna is another king of Dwarka, another politician. And he thought Krishna is very diplomatic in bringing a peace proposal from Yudhishthira. So Duryodhana did not recognize Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna, in order to convince Duryodhana that Krishna is not an ordinary person, Krishna showed one of his universal forms to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana thought Krishna is using some mystic power to bewilder Duryodhana, to force him to accept the peace proposal. Duryodhana said, I am not going to be carried away by your display of some mystic power. See, in spite of Krishna showing to Duryodhana, I am not an ordinary person, Duryodhana could not recognize. So, it is important to note here, it is said, since Bhishma Deva knew of his glories, he worshipped Krishna duly. Bhishma Deva is one of the Mahajanas. The Mahajanas are 12 great personalities in this universe who know the religious principles perfectly and who know the goal of the practice of all religious principles is simply to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To attain the lotus feet of the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna is the goal of following all religious principles. This is known only to the Mahajanas. Bhishma Deva is one of the Mahajanas. He knows who is Krishna. He knows who are the living entities. He knows what is this world, why this creation, what is the goal of life. All these things are known to Bhishma. And Bhishma's instructions to Yudhishthira forms the bulk of the wisdom given in the Mahabharata. Over 3 parvas out of 18 parvas, Bhishma's instructions to Yudhishthira are covered. Bhishma Parva, Anushasana Parva and Shanti Parva. 3 parvas. Parvas are big volumes of which the Mahabharata is constituted or divided. So 18 parvas are there, and out of those 18, 3 of them, the bulk of the Mahabharata, is describing Bhishma's instructions to Yudhishthira on the subject matter of dharma. So, this is very, very significant that Bhishma Deva knew the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Bhishma Deva could recognize here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary person. He is not another king. He is not just a powerful king. He is the Supreme Lord of all lords. He is above everyone, including the topmost devatas, Brahma, Shiva, everybody. So that Bhishma Deva knew. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord's omnipotency is displayed by his simultaneous presence in every place. Krishna is present everywhere, in every place, in the material world, in the spiritual world, everywhere. This is called omnipresence. He is present everywhere. And that is because of his omnipotency. He is supremely powerful. So he can be present, and he is present everywhere. To give you an example, each one of us, we are very, 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 very tiny spirit soul. A small particle of spiritual atom. Very, very tiny. How small? 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair point in size. So that small, tiny spiritual atom is inside the heart of this body. Now, the consciousness of that tiny spirit is spread everywhere in the body. Compared to that, tiny, very, 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 very small spirit soul, this body is quite big. And the consciousness is spread so perfectly all over the body that if an ant bites the tip of your toe, you immediately come to know about it. An ant may bite you somewhere at the top of your head, immediately come to know about it. Any part of the body the ant bites, immediately come to know about it. So, even though you're so tiny, your consciousness is spread throughout the body. Similarly, it is explained in the scriptures, Krishna in his form as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu has entered this universe. He is present as Vishwatma, the soul of the universe. So just like my consciousness is spread throughout the body, even though I am just in the heart region, a very tiny spirit soul. Similarly, even though Krishna is the spirit soul, the supreme spirit within the universe, his consciousness is spread throughout the universe. The gigantic universe consists of millions of planets. Each planet has millions of living beings. Everywhere throughout the universe, Krishna's consciousness is spread. So, he is conscious of every part of the universe. Not only he is present within the universe, he has entered the universe, he has entered the heart of every living being. Every living being's heart is present. So he is also conscious of every body. In fact, that is the difference between ourselves and Krishna. Atma and Paramatma, there is so much of so many different philosophies describing whether the Atma and Paramatma are two distinct different entities or they are one. Most people are misled by the Mayavada philosophy which says Atma and Paramatma are one. Vaishnava philosophy clearly explains the truth that the Atma and Paramatma are two, not one. Though in the scriptures it is explained that the Atma and Paramatma are one in quality, both are spiritual by nature, qualitative equality, but quantitatively they are distinctly different. Quantitatively, the tiny spirit is only conscious of one body. I am conscious of my body. You are conscious of your body. Another person is conscious of his or her body only. Whereas Krishna is conscious of every body. Krishna is conscious of billions and trillions and innumerable bodies. Every body. So this is distinctly different in terms of quantity. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. He is all-knowing. He is all-powerful. He is present everywhere, every nook and corner. So that Krishna is present in front of Bhishma Deva. So don't wrongly think Krishna is an ordinary person or just another powerful king. No, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So here the word that is used by Vyasadeva to describe this, Asinam Jagadishwaram. Jagadishwaram, the Lord of the universe. The Lord of the universe is sitting in front of Bhishma Deva. So, and it is said here, Krishna manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency, Mayaya Upatta Vigraham. Krishna's form is completely transcendental, even though it looks like a material form of a human being. It is not a material form. Krishna's form is completely transcendental. And Bhishma knew about this, and therefore Bhishma duly worshipped him. Bhishma did not receive him as another king. No. Bhishma knew here is the supreme personality of Godhead, duly worshipped him. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.